Hello everybody and welcome back to the show. We are here in Austria at the infamous circuit of the Red Bull Ring. Now I'm gonna quickly finish up setting up the stream, etc. And then we will get underway in just a moment's time. Round 3 we are at with the Red Bull Ring. There we go. Save that. Edit. Upload the thumbnail. There we go. Set it all up. Copy that link. Paste set link. And we are good to go. Alrighty. So, Red Bull Ring RBR. As it is shortened. It's one of the quickest circuits of this calendar, this season, with a lap time at around or under 130. There are not really that many circuits that have a slower or a quicker lap time than 130, I believe. Just trying to think. No, I don't think we do actually. Maybe. Well, I don't know. If you have any idea of any circuits that are shorter than 1 minute 30 or shorter than the Red Bull Ring in general, Zolder. Actually, Zolder is a really good shout. That's I didn't think of that one. I believe Zolder is indeed somewhere in the 24s. So I think you are pretty bang on with that one. So the time for practice has ended. Last car to cross the finish line, and that will be the starting signal for qualifying. As we already see a massive amount of cars exiting the pit lane. First one being the Nissan GTR, the sole Nissan GTR of Paul, leaving out early. Currently Paul in silver class with 2 races completed. They're currently, oops, wrong championship. It's always great to have so much stuff to look through, so many things to click on, and then you click on the wrong one and then it's all gone. It's up. Paul currently, after winning last week in silver class, is currently tied for the silver class championship together with Popov as currently the system is already calculating a drop round, so your lowest scores round will be dropped at the end of the season. So a 5th place in the first place means you only will have a first place counted towards your total. Although Popov does have a first and a second place, so on paper he might be higher up in the standings later on in the season, as well as Kalyan, who has got a second and third place to their name. They are currently in third place in the silver class championship. Let's move back to gold class, as it is Gr3 who has got the bragging rights for the moment, starting their first timed lap right now. They are also tied in terms of victories together with Morrow in second place, but Gr3 did have the fastest lap in a race, so they get an extra point for that, getting them just 1 point ahead of Morrow in second place. Then third place is for Lojek, who has got 2 second places back to back, and has also been crowned the driver of the month, if I remember correctly. Yeah, driver of the month for October, after joining ALR, being very consistent with 2 P2s, as I just said, in the first 2 opening rounds. Very nicely done there. As Lojek gets out of the way for Gr3, who will finish off their first flying lap. Coming through the final corner, it is very easy to go over track limits around Red Bull Ring, as Gr3 boasts the second fastest time, just barely behind Taylor, who has currently got the fastest lap, being on provisional pole position. Last but not least, let's go over the bronze standings, where it is again a tie for first place in the standings, and this time it is between Fitzpatrick and Caraballo, both of them having won a race. Fitzpatrick winning last week's race at Misano in bronze class, and now tied on points with Caraballo with 45 points in the standings. And in third place is O'Leary at the moment with 40 points. So still it's very close. I mean, with the drop round, only one race result really counts. So still everything to play for, and overall doesn't have a lot of changes, with Gr3, Morrow and Lojek being the top 3 in gold class, also being the top 3 in the overall standings. So cycling through the field, a couple of cars giving way to cars that are currently on a timed lap, as we get on board with Aizen in the 218 Porsche, going very wide on the entry to turn number 1, not quite hitting the curb, as that will unsettle the car, maximizing the track on the way out, getting a great exit speed, as their delta is just keep getting more and more in the green. Then again full over the curb on the entry of turn number 2 or 3, whichever way you look at it, powering it out. Difficult corner to get the power down, as Elise, I hope I pronounced that correctly, sorry if I did not, gets out of the way. Then to turn 4, maybe getting on the power a little bit early. Ooh, and that is a spin out and into the gravel trap they go, and back to the pit lane they go for another shot at this. Let's ride on board with another Porsche and of Falcinelli. Again into turn number 1. Nicely, don't go too wide as that will invalidate your lap time. Falcinelli currently in 8th place in the standings with a 6th and an 8th place. As you can just see how difficult the exit is out of turn 3, being uphill and very tight, will give some headaches to drivers when they are trying to find the most amount of traction. Through turn 4 again, a little bit of a squirrely exit as we saw with the other Porsche. Now fortunately might be getting a little bit held up here by Truett in the McLaren through the middle sector, which is almost following a line of stern. Not a big overtaking opportunity, and Falcinelli backs off and will probably head back to the pit lane. And yes, they will. So again, we don't see a lap completed. I want to see a lap being completed. Well, let's ride on board then with the Iliscu in the Ferrari. A new name. And with 2 more corners left to manage. Probably the most difficult ones in terms of track limits. Again, go wide here and then again go wide on the exit of the final corner. Iliscu taking it nicely and going across the line to set a new personal best lap time, which will put them up into P21 as of now. Thing with a short track like this is that it will become very congested very quickly, as there's simply just not a lot of racing room, as well as the fact that it is mostly a flat out circuit. There's not many slow corners. Turn 3 is the real outlier, maybe turn 4 as well, but other than that there aren't really any slow corners to mention. It is mostly just having a lot of courage to make it through all the corners without track extending. Hochhausen making their way out of the pit lane. Currently set in 2nd place with a 1 minute 27.777. Being just behind this man, Kurtz, with a 1 minute 27.705. So not even a tenth between P1 and P2. That will show us how close the qualifying is, and we'll get in the remaining minutes of this qualifying session. 9.5 minutes remain on the clock. Still plenty of time to get some laps in and make them count. Good. Now going on their first flying lap after coming out of the pit lane, just completed their out lap, and now they will head on through the opening sector, looking to improve on their time, because you can never be too sure, as we saw at round 1, I believe it was, where we had a last moment change of pole sitter. So Gus can use all the time or all the extra gain time to his advantage. 1.5 tenths up, going through the mid part of the lap. Through turn 6, keeping it nice. Ooh, a bit squirrely on the midpoint of the turn. Losing them around a tenth of a second. Not all that much, but still, a loss is a loss. Again, a little bit out of turn 7. Still 1.5 tenths up as they approach the final 2 corners. Keeping it within track limits nicely. Going very aggressive over the curb on the apex of the final corner. Coming across the line for a 10th improvement. Which doesn't actually move them up a position. It moves them down. It's now P2 for Goetz. As Hochhausen has also moved down to P3. It is Taylor who currently holds the fastest lap. So Taylor really happy in that Porsche. And it shows because they are very quick with a 27.3. So 3/10 clear of the rest of the field. And right now they have a little bit of a slower lap. Making way for the cars behind. Just backing off a little bit. To then go flat out again. Let's ride on board with what could possibly be a new fastest lap. Oh, and there you see it. You do not want to hit the apex curb at turn 1. And there it goes. Actually, could you call that a commentator's curse? As I said, that it would be an improvement. Yeah, I mean, commentator's curses happen all the time. It's just something that happens, really. Yeah, that's why it's called a commentator's curse, because it's a curse. Commentators have it all the time. And yeah, it's just part of the job, I guess. It does make for some interesting racing at times. If you really like, ooh, I hope this driver overtakes this driver before the end of the race, and it happens. Or in the end, it does not happen. Yeah, you could play it both ways. Five minutes on the clock. Let's take a look at the pecking order. So it is Taylor who holds a nearly 3/10 advantage over Goetz, with Morrow now slotting in third, a 100th quicker than Hochhausen in fourth. Then it is Paul in silver class having an outstanding lap time, which puts them very far up in the field, even very well into the gold class cars. Then this Freivogel barely behind in 6th place, with Fitterer having an equal time as Freivogel actually. So because Freivogel set his lap time earlier, that means that they will start, or currently as it stands, start ahead of Fitterer, who has got the exact same lap time, as well as Cabras and BX Arroyo, who also got the same lap time. Same story, Cabras set his lap time earlier than Cabras did. And that means, oh, now it has updated. Yeah, has it? No, sorry, I got confused. Cabras set his lap time earlier than BX Royal did, so that's also why Cabras would start ahead. Then there's Scanlon, Lojack having a little bit of an off pace qualifying session, but maybe can pull something out of the hat in the last minutes. That is Martinelli in 14th with Titswell being precisely 1 second behind P1 in P15. So 1 second between P1 and P15, that shows you how close it is. And 3/10 of that being between P1 and P2. That is Paris, Popov, Warrior, Asen, Gonalons, Turney, Fitzpatrick, O'Leary, Iliscu, Druid, Jordanov, Azuyan, Dandis, Black, Bayless, and Caraballo being or making up the grid. I'm actually very surprised to see Paul being so far up in the field. Currently sat in the pit lane, dropped down to 7th place after Hochhausen has made it up to P4. So a bit better showing from Hochhausen there. As I would like to check in with Lojek. There we go. That's actually the guy I wanted to focus on. After a back-to-back P2, it is after back-to-back P2s, all eyes are on them to give another great result from P13. It will be difficult as Red Bull Ring, it's somewhere in between. It's not an easy track to overtake, but it's not that difficult as well if you're really quicker, especially in turns 3 and 4 on the brakes. You can get a pass done quite easily on the brakes with the inside line. We have seen moves there of people going for a move there and working out beautifully, or defending very well as well. Because if you can defend well, you can make something happen quite easily. Lojek with an improvement, going sub 1 minute 28 and going into the top 10 into P8. One minute on the clock. These will be the last lap for all the drivers. Barely all the drivers. So it is time to get that last bit of pace out of you. But right now Lojek being down almost 2/10. 2/10 right now. On their final lap, so it will be a bit short for them. Gert will not be able to improve on their time. It will be P2 at best. Hochhausen is in the pit lane. Where will Moro end up? In the Lamborghini. Currently also down on their time. Just a little bit though. It could still happen in these final corners. And they actually pull off to the side. Pull off into the pit lane. Not challenging for the pole position. So I think the pole position will go to Taylor, as we have just a couple of drivers remaining out on track left to finish off the lap time. I think we can say a premature congrats to Taylor for taking what I honestly can say a surprise pole position. Also being in a Porsche, outclassing the Fords. So only a couple of cars left on the circuit. Davey with the last second P1, maybe. But it is not to be. It is Taylor who will take pole position ahead of Gert and Morrow. Great showing from the Porsche, and also just look at that, a Porsche, then a Ford, Lamborghini, another Ford, then a BMW, a Ferrari, BMW, Ferrari, Porsche, McLaren, making up the top 10. So 2 BMWs, 2 Ferraris, 2 Fords, 2 Porsches, McLaren, and a Lamborghini, making up the top 10. So 2 minutes before we start this race, grab some snacks, get something to drink if you want to, because the next hour will be fully action-packed to the brim, with a lot of possible overtakes, great battles out on track. Evening there, Druid. Where did you end up? You got it up to P25. So third in bronze class actually. Let's quickly go over that. So Paul with a very good qualifying, putting it P12 overall, but first in silver class, being followed by the title rival as of now, Popov, and then Warrior. Then it is Fitzpatrick who leads in bronze class ahead of O'Leary and ahead of Druid. With Caraballo being second in the bronze class standings, being last on the grid. So they have a lot of cars to overtake to get up to Fitzpatrick.
30 seconds.
30 seconds left before the green light is shown to go racing, or to go on to the formation lap. As we are going right now, as the Porsche of Taylor leads us on this formation lap. I'm actually very surprised about the top 10 being so diverse in manufacturers. That it will be a different side than we have seen in the last 2 weeks, where it was mostly Fords at the front of the field. And this time it is more or less not the case. So this will be a major overtaking spot, turn number 4. It's a downhill braking, so be careful with any lockups or going in deep. There is a gravel trap awaiting you if you do so. Tire temps will also be something of importance, as it is always really. But especially in the first 2 laps, will be quite difficult. As cars are now heading side by side to make it to astern, or 2 lines, sorry, on to the start-finish straight. It will be the outside line for Taylor, which is not really preferred usually, especially not at turn 1 of the Red Bull Ring. We have to wait and see what is going to happen. The cars are rounding the final corner. Round 3 will start in moments time as they crawl towards the start-finish line, and it is green, 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 and we are off for round number 3, and already Taylor chopping off the fourth, but not quite enough as they head side by side. Oh, and there has been a tap from the second Porsche, but still they managed to keep it pointed in the right direction. Gr3 has made a break for it, as Taylor from pole position now being sandwiched in between 2 cars going up into turn number 3. As that seems all alright. Ferrari giving a slight tap to Freivogel in the BMW. But it is again a 1-2 for the fourth, as in the background we have some cars being stopped on track, as that is Dandies and Titswell have had a come together. Taylor defending a podium spot now from Morrow, and I believe they managed to pull that off in the second sector. Yes, they did, but not the greatest of opening laps for Taylor, having to step down for the 2 fourths. Oh, and that is a bit of a late move for Fitterer on Martinelli. A bit of a tap going on the apex there of the final corner. Don't think Martinelli is too pleased with that. And again, we have seen a lot of action on this opening lap. This will also be a race of longevity. As, oh, there's Freivogel going in too deep at turn 3, and that will cost them majorly, as on the exit you cannot really get the power down as much as you want to. They are now under attack from Falcinelli as well in the yellow and red Porsche. Falcinelli looking up the inside, not quite managing to make the pass, as Weatherston behind does make the pass on Cabras. Titswell is already in the pit lane after that lap 1 coming together. Not sure if they are repairing damage of sorts, but they are in there for quite a long time by the looks of it. Oh, and Popov with a big slide does catch it. Very, very well done there. I was already thinking like, oh, this is going to be sketchy, but the McLaren driver holding it nicely, as Gonalons had a little look up the inside of Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick being very high up in P14, trying their best to battle it out with the gold class drivers, as they are going almost 3 wide on to turn number 3. Fitzpatrick holding the inside line nicely, but Gonalons with superior exit traction will get past the McLaren, as behind Paris is now shaping up for a move on the outside of Popov, braking a little bit later and keeping it very nicely, just a wheel in the grass there, being slightly forced wide by the McLaren of Popov. As Caraballo has already made up quite a lot of places after starting from last place on the grid, already having moved up 7 positions at the end of lap number 2. And 3 wide, almost 4 wide on the main straight, as ahead we have an incident. Who is that? It looks like it is Freivogel. Freivogel had had an incident in turn number 1. I didn't see any major damage there, so I'm not sure if there was a hit with the barrier. What I can say though is that behind the 3 wide 4 wide moment has worked out without any incidents to speak of. As the top 2 are already starting to form a little group by themselves. There they are. Ooh, as Hochhausen actually goes pretty wide out of turn number 7 onto 8. Then you got P2 and P3 and P4 actually, with Taylor and Morrow juking it out. Then behind that you got the remaining pack. Scanlon now catching up to the back of Warrior and O'Leary, as that was a little bit of a lag. And actually already going into the pit lane is Scanlon. That's not lag that you see there. This is a planned action, and they are carrying quite a lot of damage to the front of their car. Was that incident with Fitzpatrick or Freivogel, I should say, sorry, Freivogel being caused by potentially a tap from Scanlon? We have to wait and see on the replay, which will be brought up in a moment's time, whether or not that was indeed the case. Ooh, as up ahead, a battle between Cabras and Weatherston. Weatherston still ahead of Cabras for the time being, after Cabras tried to send it up the inside into turn number 4. Did quite overshoot it, and Weatherston nipped underneath, saw the gap, and retook that 7th place away from the Porsche. The Freivogel now being in 15th place, looking to claw back some lost time, as they're trying to get past Fitzpatrick. Not really an overtaking spot there, but they do manage to force them out wide. Now maybe with a better exit out of the final corner, might be a shot into turn number 1. A full second quicker was Freivogel on that last lap compared to Fitzpatrick. So it won't be long before an overtake will be made, although that is not how you want to take the first corner, Freivogel. It's a little bit less over the exit curb if you want to. And just ahead of them is Scanlon, who has now come out of the pit lane, completed their mandatory pit stop, and is now free to go until the end. Because remember, there is a mandatory pit stop involved in this race. You don't need to change tires, you only need to take on fuel, how much you decide. Could be as much as 1 liter, or it could be 60 liters, whatever you want. Cabros getting impatient behind the BMW. Nearly went for a dive into turn 7, which you can pull off. It's just that you really need to have great overspeed to do so, and still manage to make it through there without any incidents. Sorry. Already excuse me, I have a bit of a cold, I think. Bit of a sore throat, bit of a stuffed up nose, so if you hear me sniffing or yeah, weird noises, just know that that's the case. I try to minimize it as much as possible, but sometimes one does slip out. Bit deep from Weatherston there, also a bit wide on the exit as a cause of that, and now there might be a dive opportunity for Cabras going into turn number 4. Will there be a dive? Not quite. But look at how close the Porsche is from the back of that BMW. Up the inside into turn 6. You got to be kidding, right? Oh, it's close. Room has been given. It is still very, very close between the pair of them. Now the inside line for turn number 7. Let's see. Ooh, Cabras did pull out in the end. And Weatherston lives to fight another day. But for how much longer can they keep this up? Weatherston is losing touch now to LoJack in front. Being almost 3 seconds adrift now, and that gap will only grow more and more as time goes on. Cabras would want to have a shot at that fault ahead, so it's a case of getting past as quickly as possible. Taylor still holding ground in 3rd place, half a second ahead of Morrow, 1.7 seconds behind Hochhausen, and 2.9 behind the lead of the race. Which is good. Who is the leader from turn 1 on? They are dropping the pack behind the X-Royal and LoJack. Over 3 and 4 seconds adrift. As Asen now shaping up for a move on Black. Space is given and space is taken by Asen, who moves up to P21, getting past the BMW into turn number 4, and can now close the gap to Warrior. 5 seconds is the gap, but clear air and Warrior is battling. Ooh, that is pretty wide out there, Asen. Be careful with track limits. As this man Warrior is trying to go for a move there, as O'Leary almost gifted that place, almost said almost quite a lot of times. But O'Leary trying to fight back into turn number 1, but the inside line is not really an option if you don't really have any part of your car alongside, and Warrior takes that place away from the Mercedes driver. Pellicinelli behind Fitterer. Yes, again there was a little bit of a lag spike. My apologies for that. They make their way through the 2nd sector now, and look at that train up ahead. And I believe that is Cabras who made it past Weatherston. And that is indeed correct. Cabras has moved past Weatherston. So now, ooh, yes, that is very slidey from the Porsche. Cabras from Weatherston, then this Paul and Martinelli with Fitterer and Falcinelli, sorry, not that far behind, as Taylor almost needing to defend from Morrow in turn 3. No such thing for this pack, as they are just going in a single file through the entire circuit. Now it's just about keeping it consistent. Also for BX Royal, just keep it consistent, try to catch up to the likes of Taylor and Morrow. Gers has dropped back a little bit. Hochhaus now within a second away from the lead of this race. Also currently with the fastest lap of a 28.080. Oh, as there has been an incident between Turney, I believe that is, and Gonalons. And that is an incident watching back right now as Turney cuts across the track trying to face the right way, and they do so. So let's quickly take a look back at what happened there with Turney, as that was definitely an incident where two parties were involved. And now we will take a look at who is possibly to blame for that. So let's take a quick gander, shall we? So up behind Gonalons, I believe that is. Oh, and there was an incident before. Oh my goodness me! I don't think Turney had anything to do with that incident. I don't think they had anywhere to go, really. Oh, that is a nasty incident for them, as it was actually the Ferrari of Gonalons who had an incident beforehand. Gonalons on their own. Just too much entry curb, or apex curb more so. Trying to get back on the circuit and rejoining in a bit of an unsafe manner. And Turney has made it back to pit lane now. Gonalons was already in the pit lane, but yeah, massive damage there to the front of Turney's car. I think the stewards will definitely want to take a look at that. Oh, and the battle for the lead continues on. Hochhaus nearly pushing Gertz in the braking zone. As there's only 4/10 in between the two Mustangs. And we are only 1/3 of the race, only 1/3 of the race has been completed. There is a small chance of rain during the race. Not a big chance, but there is a chance. And for how long the rain will go for, or how heavy it is, that's all uncertain. Just know that there is a chance of rain. And this battle up ahead will only bring in the likes of Taylor and Morrow. Taylor already having closed in to the lead by almost half a second. And if they keep going like that, ooh, it won't be long before they catch up. Through the final set of corners, Olghuizen seemingly pushing quite a lot by the amount of fishtailing that's happening already. Near equal lap times, as Taylor is 2/10 quicker on that last lap, and 2/10 every single lap. Ooh, that's gonna count for something in the end. Caraballo moving up to 21st position now. Moving up 10 positions from the start of the race. Doing a very good job at recovering some lost ground. And only a second away from P20 overall. And I've commentators cursed it. Of course I did. Caraballo spinning out through turn 1 and just slightly hitting the barrier. It's just insane, the commentators curse. It really is. It's crazy how it always keeps on happening. I'm very sorry, Caraballo. I didn't mean to do it to you. As Warrior with a brief yellow flag. Out of turn number 4. Has gotten going again. But did lose a couple of positions. You can see by the delta, 18 seconds down on their personal best lap time. Not all too well. It's advised to not lose that much time over a lap. I don't think that they were supposed to do that, but they are heading into the pit now anyway, which in all fairness is a good shout, given that they already lost time and track position. Martinelli in the pit lane as well, so is Warrior and Gonalons. Martinelli exiting when Warrior is entering. So they will come out in P21 or will be lower down. The exit will be tight and will be P22 just behind Druid in the McLaren. But I think that fresh tires will do a lot there, as this is really a circuit where grip is of the essence. Maybe already now into turn number 4. You might already see a move. Not quite, but you can see just Martinelli is so eager to get past. Now then, around the outside, yes, Druid backs it off. Oh, but goes very wide, Martinelli. Still keeps the place and is back into P21. Lojack has got Weston and Cabras for company, as Weston has made their move past the Porsche again. As the leaders are now catching up to some lapped traffic. Oh, and Gertz has had a bit of a hiccup there, coming out of the first corner. Hochhausen flashing to let Julenhoff know that they are coming past. And now Bayliss up ahead in the BMW, also being shown blue flags for the traffic behind. Are they going to let them past? I think they are. So nice work. This is now the interesting part of the race. Also strategically wise, what is the best call to make now? Are you going for an undercut or overcut? Are you gonna pit at the half-hour mark? Are you gonna do it after? Lots of options. That's of right now. They're staying out. But Gertz is struggling. Ball tends the gap between the two Mustangs up in front. This would be the best result for Hochhausen by quite a long shot after finishing P13 and P28 in the first two races. Caraballo and Lojack going side by side, and Caraballo making no big fight out of it, knowing that Lojack is the quicker driver, trying to lose as minimal time as possible. As 777 has had an incident, and that would be the BMW of Bayliss. Am I correct in saying that? I think I am. Although I'm not seeing them anymore. As I think they have pulled out. Alright, interestingly. Freivogel now making their way into the pit lane. as BX Royal is now up to 4th place. And that means that Guts has made a pit stop and is now coming out. So Guts pulling the trigger first and getting out just behind Liscu. And this could cause some trouble for the outlap of Guts. Already going on the attack into turn number 3 on the brakes nicely and making quick work of that Ferrari. So now it is a battle on who made the better strategic call. Is it Guts who went a little bit early to try and go for the undercut and maybe also ease a bit of pressure away from trying to or needing to defend from Hochhausen all that much, as Hochhausen is now also in the pit lane. It is going to be a close one, as Hochhausen is moving already. There you can see him going through the pit lane and out of the pit lane ahead of Guts, and by almost or just a second. So Hochhausen making the overcut work. But I do have a left car ahead of them by Azoyan, who does get out of the way now, so that these two can fight. It is, in all fairness, the battle for the race win possibly, as more cars are now also in the pit lane. Including Paris, who is entering the pit lane right now. Caraballo's in the pit lane. Fitzpatrick is just exiting the pit lane, as Popov and Druid are having a side-by-side battle, but Cabras is right behind them, getting blue flags. And now it is also a race of who needs to let go first, as Popov is going in very deep into turn 4 and does get by. Also led by Cabras and Weatherston in the process, so getting good gains, although running very wide on the exit of turn 6 and then losing the place to Druid once again. And once more going very wide. Quite possibly still got some cold tires, as they already made the pit stop. I believe it was just a moment ago that they did. And now Cabras is peeling it off into the pit lane to serve their mandatory pit stop. A lot of drivers have already completed their pit stop. One of which who has not is Black, who is just ahead of Paul here, who needs to defend from Lojack. So an interesting battle here developing for the Nissan GTR. As they want to get past the BMW as soon as possible. Not really able to do that here, and Lojack is looking to go around the outside of the GTR. It's a bit too tight for that. Oh, and there is a touch with the GTR and the BMW of Black. They continue on. Black peels it off into the pit lane. But GTR being a big loser out of that one, as Martinelli will now also try and overtake. As Paul even lets off the throttle for that. So Taylor in the lead, but now in the pit lane. So that means that Weatherston will take the lead away from the Porsche. And it is a BMW who leads round 3 of season 8. Not something I would have expected. I have to be brutally honest with you. It is a pretty sight to see. I will give you that. To see that a BMW is leading. Not one of the usual Fords or Ferraris or McLarens. No, it's a BMW. Good old German engineering. Black, ooh, as in behind, good, has had a big moment there. Needing to avoid turning in the braking zone. And that cost them a couple of valuable seconds. As Hochhausen is now going further and further away. As we do have a white flag for Druid, who is going very slowly. What is going on with Druid? We'll have to wait and see on that, but Hochhausen now 3.7 seconds adrift from Goetz. And that was only 1 second not that long ago. Goetz now also getting past Dundies. 4.1 seconds is the gap with 23 minutes remaining. Oh, and Druid has ran out of fuel by the looks of it. And has returned to the pit lane now. But that's a big shame for them. Going one lap too long. And in doing so ruining their chances of a good end result. Vogel under attack from a yellow canary. Yellow for Porsche, I almost said it wrong. A yellow Porsche, bright yellow. Oh, you missed your grid slot, Druid. Oh, that's a big shame. Yeah. And then you are in deep trouble. Well, try to get back out again, as there's still everything to play for. It's not over till the checkered flag will fall. And as of now, Vogel and Falcinelli will be battling it out till the end. Three-tenths in between the pair of them, as they are heading on to the start-finish straight into turn number 1. Porsche benefiting from the slipstream behind the BMW. And we could see a dive at any moment, possibly now into turn number 4. If the Porsche gets a good exit, that seems like an alright one. Is there going to be ascent? They are looking, they are going, but not quite close enough to go for that move. Need to stick it out behind the 227 BMW a little bit longer. Taylor has dropped down to 5th place now, dropping behind both Morrow and PX Royal. As I'm trying to find set PX Royal. Taylor had a big time difference there. They are almost 8 seconds away from Morrow, and they were ahead of them when they went into the pit lane. So I think the undercut proved very costly, or overcut proved costly for Taylor. And Morrow made good use of that. Another one who came out very nicely out of the pit stop phase is Hochhausen. Nearly 5-second lead over next best placed car Gr3, with under 20 minutes left to go. That is a steady gap to have. As we see that Truett has made it out of the pit lane again. There we go. And is back out onto the racetrack. Albeit in last place, but still got everything to fight for. Morrow has maybe got even a good shot of getting P2 if Gr3 makes another mistake or gets held up by slower traffic, or maybe like last week gets a penalty in the dying moments of the race. Anything could happen. And given that the circuit is also notorious for the track limits, as behind PX Royal and Taylor are going very close to one another. As this is shaping up to be a very nice fight. As 218 has been given a drive-through penalty. That one belongs to Asen, as there is a move for 4th place. And it goes to Taylor with the move up the inside into turn number 4. Taking 4th place away from PX Royal. But as I was saying, Asen with the drive-through penalty for track limits, the first one so far, or first penalty that has been dished out so far. I'm actually surprised that it took nearly 3/4 of the race before a single penalty got dished out. It wasn't that long with Misano, I know that much. I also know that BX Royal will want to fight for this 4th place, as there we have a recovering O'Leary in the Mercedes, not posing any issues to these two. Hochhausen now with a 3.4 second lead, so losing a bit of time there to Gr3, as Gr3 is now setting out the afterburners. Not quite the fastest lap for Gr3 as of right now. They will improve their lap time to a 1 minute 27.882, but the fastest lap overall actually belongs to someone else, and that one being, there we go, Taylor. So Taylor still showing that they do have the pace with a 1 minute 27.767. Currently holding the fast lap of the race, and I am fairly certain that they will not lose that one. Because, yeah, it's the fuel load will get lighter, but on the other hand, tires will go off, maybe even more. As Asen did not go for the drive-through and has thus been disqualified. I was wondering if they were going to go into the pit lane to serve the drive-through, but I guess not. Possibly lost sight of that, then paid the price for it with a DSQ. This camera angle is quite shit, if I may say so. You cannot see anything from the road. You need to go to this camera angle and then you can see something finally. And we see Paul chasing after Fitterer for a top 10 overall finish. Still, of course, being the lead silver driver by quite a big margin over Popov, and then Warrior is now for just pure overall positions as they go in very deep into turn 3, sorry. As further behind it is Fitzpatrick who holds P1 in bronze class, followed by O'Leary and then Black. All of them also quite separated, so the closest battle in terms of podium in class is also the podium for the overall race, and that is between even Taylor and Morrow, who are 6 seconds adrift from one another, as well as Hochhausen and Gr3, who are 3.3 seconds away from one another. Hochhausen now getting past Fitzpatrick, who goes in deep on purpose to obey the blue flags. So we have gotten a bit to the point where on track there aren't really that many battles. As I'm looking through the field, I take that back. We have O'Leary and Iliscu going very close together into turn number 4. As Dundies is now also joining the fight. 3 cars in near touching distance. And O'Leary needs to turn attack into defense now to not lose the position to the Ferrari behind. But in doing so actually goes ahead. Receives a little tap from Dundies behind. As Logic is just carving their way through the back. As O'Leary gives way to Logic. Also receives a little bump from the Ferrari of Martinelli, who gets past, and then it is Dundies who gets past in the end as well to get up to P19. And look at that behind, it is Fitterer also trying to get past, as well as Paul, who are in a fight of their own. As O'Leary goes in deep into turn number 1. As Fitterer is now still chasing after the BMW of Fitterer. But Fitterer going in very deep into turn number 4. Seemingly pressure is starting to get to them. Two tenths now, the gap between the 2 cars. You must correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that there is some BMW influence on the GTR, isn't there? Or am I just missing or confusing something? Because I do believe that there is some German engineering done on that Nissan. Although I'm not quite sure what that would be. Anyway, on the racing circuit, that doesn't really matter. It's all about who drives them. And look at how close the Nissan is getting to the back of that BMW lap after lap after lap. It's only a couple of tenths between the 2 of them. Will there be a shot here into turn number 4? Just go ahead and do it. Just late break. Just go for it, man. Give us some content. Give us something to cheer on. This is the closest battle we have on circuit right now. We want to see some action, some fireworks, something. Go on then. As actually up ahead, Martinelli and Lojack are also very close to one another. Let's take a look at them. There we go. As Gonalons is actually in the pit lane right now. Not sure what that's for. Oh, and I have commentators cursed someone again. And this time it is the Ferrari. The Ferrari of... Where are you? Martinelli, there we go. And losing 2 spots in the process as well to the people that we were just following. There we go. So back to these 2 then. As GTR is ever so closer. GTR doesn't really seem to like this middle part of the lap. But the BMW also having some issues with it. You can just see how much they extend the way. Little over 5 minutes remaining. That would count to 4 laps, I think. Yeah, 4 laps to go, including this one, maybe even 5 actually, depending on when the leader will cross the finish line. So, last general overview update of the current standings. Oh, Witherspoon has made a mistake. Witherspoon has spun round at turn 3. And is now losing also to Lojek. They were very close with Cabras. Has there been a touch between the BMW and the Porsche? I am not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was indeed a point of contact there. They were very close over the course of a good couple of laps. With so little time left to go, it's going to be difficult to claw their way back up from this. I think Taylor can be very pleased with a P4 finish, which would be the 3rd P4 finish in a row, actually. That's an achievement, to say the least. Very consistent. Warrior might be able to get Fitzpatrick in these last couple of laps. They're less than a second up the road. And BX Royal is in between, who is getting blue flags from Fitzpatrick. Now Fitzpatrick is ahead. Ooh, it will be close, whether or not it will be 3 or 2 laps remaining after they cross the finish line. Porsche very close to the rear bumper of the McLaren, not going for a move into turn number 1, rather waiting the time and slotting back in behind to go for a dive into turn 3 or 4. Yes, that is the major overtaking opportunity. A bit too far away at turn 3 to really go for a move, but Fitzpatrick going deep into turn 3. Difficult exit. Porsche being very good on the exit of corners. Being able to put down the traction a lot better than other cars. Great traction out of turn 4, but then losing it almost, Warrior. Warrior is getting almost impatient by the looks of it, really struggling to follow that closely behind the McLaren. Has to go on board with the helmet cam. And we don't know on how many track limits warnings they are. One more and it could be curtains for them. Better exit now from the Porsche. In striking distance now to go for a dive bomb. Thinking about it, not quite. It must happen now, come on, don't let us wait in such... Yeah, I don't know the word actually, sorry. Oh, Fitzpatrick going deep. But still not a shot there at an overtake. Was that Lojack in the pit lane? Lojack in the pit lane, oh no, after having a bit of a difficult qualifying, being a bit further down. But in front it is Hochhausen who wins round number 3, being followed home by Gert in second place. After who it will be Morrow taking the final spot on the podium, with Taylor finishing in P4, very well done. Then is BX Royal who finishes in 5th place ahead of Weatherston. And Cabras will finish 4/10 behind Weatherston in 7th place. 8th place will go to Fitterer with 9th place, and I think, yeah, for Martinelli with 10th place for Paul, claiming a top 10 finish and winning silver class. Paris coming home in P13 there. Nicely done. With the Druid getting a 130-second penalty for not serving their mandatory pit stop. Although they did went into the pit lane, didn't count for a mandatory pit stop. Only Caraballo and Lojack left to cross the finish line. I think Lojack ran out of fuel, didn't account for another lap run, and paid the price for that. Caraballo will come home in 24th place with Lojack in 16th, I'm sorry. But it's Hochhausen who wins this race. Very nicely done there. Let's quickly take a look at the pit. Oh no, at the pit lane, not the replay. Excuse me. And let's quickly save that as well before anything happens to that. So let's take a look. I believe it was there was an incident at turn. Oh, sorry. At turn 3 on the opening lap. Excuse me, sorry. There was a big incident. Oh, a very big incident there for quite a couple of cars. And I believe, where are you? Which car was it? Was that McLaren? Who are you again? It was Titswell. Getting tagged there by the BMW and just getting ping-ponged left, right and center. And Dundies was actually not even involved all that much in that incident. They were lagging quite a lot. I have a feeling that that may have contributed to the incident, as was actually Fitterer who gave the initial pit maneuver there. I'm also curious to see where Caraballo, who is number 81, they start from the back of the grid. That's very congested there. Their start, how that went on. So turn number 1, all good through there. Oh, that's already on a straight, nearly crashing. And then just getting past these cars, that's 5 positions gained already. 6 positions. Alright, so just getting past that mess at turn 3 very nicely. And thus making up places. And just let me quickly take a look. Let's return to garage. It is Hochhaus Nunes 1, so I would like to have a chat with them if possible.
Green light, go, go, go.
I don't think that we will have anyone in for an interview tonight. Hopefully, next race we will have someone. Next week we are at Kailami with no qualifying because it is reverse grid order from the current championship standings. That means that, well, yeah, why qualify? As that has no impact on the starting grid. So, yeah, until then, have a good one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you guys next week for some more ACC. Until then, have a good one. Bye bye.